Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Non-Classics. This is episode number 2107, Doubleshot number 2001. Now, these two traits here I basically can discuss here. Now, both these traits, at one point, Jim Palmiotti worked on them. Yes, Jimmy Palmiotti. This one he definitely did. They only worked in the past. But all the characters are very ninja-like. Okay? First up we have is Valiant Masters Ninjak Volume 1 Black Water. This is Joe Quesada's, basically his ninja. Now, he does have equipment to this character over at Marvel. Her name is Echo. Yes, Echo is Marvel's version of this very character. Now, you might be curious, though. Was this part of the original series from the 90s? Yes. Not very long series, but I think it was like 27 issues, I believe it was. Yes. This book contains the first 6 issues plus issues 0 and 00. Of course, everything here is written by Mark A. Marty. Joe Quesada just does the first 2 issues, and that's it. Yes, Joe Quesada, co-creator of this book, character, and he only sticks around for a couple issues. Yep, and here are your writers. Now, Mark A. Marty, he does the writing for pretty much solely for the first 2 issues. Actually, Joe Quesada does issue 3, which Jim Palmiotti is the inker for the first 3 issues. Issue number 4, Mark A. Marty takes over as the writing, both writing and artwork. He takes over the artwork for that one. Issues 5, he does sole writing. He pretty much does the writing for up until the end. Issue 6 goes with Kevin Von Hook, who was the co-creator of Bloodshot. 5 is done by Kevin Bossack, C.R. Lester, and Howard Simpson. The artwork for issue 6 is done by Louis Small Jr. And Mark A. Marty does basically issues 0 and number down below, with Dick Giordano on the inking. I bring that up because Dick Giordano is a legendary inker and artist. He's really good at what he does. Now, you might be curious though. Does this book contain, is Ninjak number 1 the first appearance of Ninjak? The answer is no, it isn't. He made his first appearance pages of Bloodshot. Yeah, Bloodshot. I'm not really sure why they couldn't include it in here. Now, the thing is, when it comes to this book, it was actually 20. Yeah, this is first 6 out of 26 issues. Now, you read this book, and you look at the art style Joe Quesada was doing, and you look at wow, it looks like, plus, love the issue 1's gatefold cover. It's really good here. Now, the artwork here is really good, though it is early 90s style artwork. Though, I should point out, though, the book itself, basically, artistically wise, it seems very, not the case with issue 1 per se, but it's more like that with issue 2. Because I did notice this for issue number 2 of the book, where it's either 2 or 3, where it basically reads like an issue of Spawn. Yes. Now, Ninjak himself, this is what he looks like, as you can see in the cover. Now, in the reboot continuity, it's the same somewhat designed costume, except it's more of a lighter, blackish purple than it is here. He's still calling King of the current continuity. Here, it's basically about, the whole thing with this one is that this is the original version of the character. Excuse me. This is the one that Joe Quesada created, and now Ninjak is my personal favorite character, both in the original Valiant continuity and the current Valiant continuity. The reason? He's just a cool character. Sadly, whenever he has a book, it doesn't last very long. That's the only problem with this character. He has a book that doesn't last very long. This volume here, 26 issues. The successor volume by Acclaim, 13 issues. The first volume done by Matt Knott in the current continuity, 27 issues, which is the longest book he's ever had. The book that came afterwards, 17 issues. That was Ninja K. And the current book is not finished yet. I don't get how basically characters like Bloodshot, X-Men of War can have like a roll long successful series, but not Ninjak, a character is really cool. Just British Super Spy. Now you might be thinking, what's the story for this one? You might ask. Well, the whole thing with Ninjak, it's basically, what if James Bond was a ninja? Yeah, that's the best way you can describe this series. You have a lot of spy stuff, and here's Ninjak making his public debut. Yep. Now, the thing with these issues are, he takes a woman as his lover, and in the first issue, he has sex a lot, like he's James Bond, and you might think he does the woman up betraying him, like some standard woman. No, not really. There's also old man involved. It's a good start for this series. I don't want to spoil too much because it's really good. Love this cover. This cover is really good. Yes. The one thing that, like I said before when I talked about Shadow Man, is that Valiant was always known for, like, if you read any Valiant comic from the early stuff, it always has really good artwork. Because Valiant always had competent artists on the books. Now, in the case of writing per se, Ninjak is my third favorite character of the original continuity and the current one. Who is my favorite, might I ask, the original continuity? Bloodshot. Yep, Bloodshot. I kind of wish they would include his debut in here, but no, they don't. I don't really know why, but yeah. Lots of spy work here, did with ninjas. Issue 0 and 00 is basically Ninjak's backstory. Surprisingly, Joe Quesada would not be involved with the artwork of the thing, despite the fact he did co-create the character. Yeah. Now, you might be curious, though. Has Quesada ever come back to the character after the first 3 issues of this book? The answer is no. And surprisingly, this is one of 2 books he ever did for Valiant. The only other book, actually 3 books. The only books he ever did for Valiant is that he did, actually it was one other book he did. He did X-Men of War number 0, and that was it. Yeah. No denying the fact this book jump-started Joe Quesada's career. This was technically the first book he ever worked on. Is it true, you might ask? No, because the first book he worked on was Batman Sword of Azrael. Yeah. He worked DC very briefly. For a year. And then he came back for a one-shot. So this was, let's see, 1. Actually, the first book was Question Correless. 1, 2, 3. Actually, 1, 2, 3. I'd say this was only the second book he worked at Valiant. And it is something, though, the fact that this book became very successful. Yeah. And I do appreciate it. The book is really good. Give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Next up we have is a book that you're probably thinking because I don't like the previous volume, but here we go. We have Daredevil and Elektra, Volume 1, The Red Fist Saga. Now this book is the start of the relaunch of Daredevil. This, of course, is Daredevil. I believe this is volume number 7. Yes. This contains the first 5 issues of the run of this volume by Chip Zdarsky. Yes, his second volume he's done for Daredevil. This, of course, is just after the events of Devil's Reign, like in the aftermath of it. We already have basically the epilogue. It's basically set right afterwards. Of course, you gotta love this artwork here by Marco Chia, who only does the first 2 issues. You're thinking, really? The first 2 issues? Yep, with Rafael De Lory has done the remaining 3. Now, 2 has got several guest artists in this issue. We have Alex Malee, Paul Arcesia, Phil Noto, Chris Simney, Claus Johnson, Mike Hawthorne, John Romita Jr., and Scott Hanna. There's also a story called The Hand, written by Ann Nocenti. Yes, Ann Nocenti. With Chip Zdarsky on the artwork. There is mini marvels written and drawn and leathered by Chris Guerrero. The artwork here is by Marco Cheeto and Matthew Wilson. Now, Wilson Fisk, they say he's dead, even though he really isn't. He basically fled the country. Yeah, him and his wife, Typhoid Mary, Yeah, they fled the country. Despite the fact that Wilson Fisk committed a whole lot of crimes, he decided to flee the country instead of basically going to jail. So, we have Matt Murdock back in the costume. Unlike in the previous volume, he was only he was in the costume for the opening issue, and they put it back on again until issue 25. Yes, 2 years into the run, that's when they finally put back on the damn costume. Also, at the same time as when Elektra became Daredevil, which she's Daredevil here. The whole thing with the Red Fist is that this is another organization to rival the Hand. It is formed by, from what I can tell, people who used to be associated with the Hand. It's led by Daredevil and Elektra, with Stick part of the group, and also Cole North, who was from the previous one for this series, is brought here. Foggy Nelson is here. Now, New York is here briefly at the start of it. And the one thing I do appreciate Daredevil for doing this too, and I was so happy he did this. He had Daredevil unmasked in front of Spider-Man. Yes, thus basically allowing Spider-Man to become another person who knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Now, if you're curious though, at this point in time, how many people know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil? Answer, not many. These are your list of people who know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil because of the whole stuff with the purple children. Foggy Nelson, Spider-Man, Wilson Fisk, obviously, and Elektra. I think that's it. Yeah, they're the only ones who know. And also have some weird happened in the book where you also have Stick marrying Elektra and Daredevil, which I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, they decided to have their formal ceremony while they lie on the ground as being handled doing some training, and have Stick perform the ceremony, which I thought that was weird. I mean, yeah, the whole thing of Daredevil marrying Elektra, that has been something people probably wanted to see per se, but I just thought it was just kind of odd per se. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one thing at least I get praise for Dusky for so far is that, well, in 5 issues of this book, guess how many times that Foggy appears in the book? Foggy, I always love when he appears in the book because he's Matt Murdock's best friend. In this current volume for Daredevil, he's appeared in. He missed issue 1, but he's been here up into issue number 6. That was his most recent issue he appeared in. Oh, by the way, the group is called The Fist. And it's made up of basically some former... These are your members. Speed Demon, Bullet, Fancy Dan, Stiltman, The Wrecker, Stegoron, Dinosaur Man, Agony Symbiote, Doc Samson, Monet, Jab Smasher, Stick, Technical North, Foggy Nelson, and Goldie. Yeah. By why multiple artists? Because issue 2 was issue 650 for the series. Yeah, that was the reason for it. The Red Fist itself is formed in... Well, you could say his first appearance was actually issue number 4. That was the first time he actually appeared. It is interesting that we have Doc Samson part of this group, which is interesting to say the least. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, the fact that he's here. Now, Cole North was actually in pretty much mostly every single issue of the previous volume for Daredevil. I think he missed issue 12. He missed 1, 2, 3. He missed issues. Let's see. He missed issue 5, 12, 15, 17, 22 to 29, 31 to 32, and 35. In this book, he started pairing with issue number 3, and he's been pairing since then. Like, Foggy has paired mostly. I think he's missed like the current issues. Yep. And they also deal with what's going on in the pages of Punisher. Yes, the Punisher. Where the thing is, the new fist of the hand is the Punisher, which I do appreciate Zdarsky referencing what's going on the page of Punisher, because, well, why not? And you could say these issues are preparing Daredevil's war with the hand. We have the formation of his group. We have basically my members. Though it's weird that they have members like Stegoron, Stick, Wrecker, Stiltman, Speed Demon, Agony. Yes, Agony. A character who was basically from the pages of Extreme Carnage. Yeah, and she was previously part of Thunderbolts. And now she's part of this group. And Speed Demon, yeah, he's even a weirder idea. I mean, Speed Demon, really. A guy who was part of the Sinister Six. And as far as I can tell, currently the storyline is still ongoing for the Red Fist. Yeah, it's still ongoing. Yeah, and also in this book, we also have it where, well, Matt is basically sporting a beard. Yeah, at one point he's got a full beard, so he hasn't shaved in a while. Now, Wilson Fisk is in this book. He's still the mayor of New York City, which is something that happened at the end of Devil's Reign, which I do appreciate bringing that up. But it's like all New York stuff is handled in the first 2 issues, and the rest of it is all handled in the brand new base operations of the Fist and pairing war with the hand. That's basically what we have here, which, okay, fine. It seems like we're going to the style of Frank Miller in a minor sort of way, but this book is shockingly really good. It's actually an improvement over the previous volume for the series. I'm not really sure why the trade is called Daredevil and Elektra, because they're both here, both Daredevil, but yet the book is still called Daredevil. Yeah, I'm going to give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Yeah. A friend of mine basically dropped someone I know, he dropped the book because of a line of the book where a person's telling Daredevil to enact his white privilege. And when he heard that, he's like, I'm done with this book. Yeah, he dropped this book. Yeah, and some people, now, this is what I've heard, the reception toward the previous volume was mostly negative, I heard, when it comes to the previous volume by Jim Sisk by Daredevil, because it felt as though, basically, it took a while to the story. It felt very random. I wasn't really keen. I wasn't big on the book, per se. Now, do I think that, well, Spider-Man knowing Daredevil with Matt Murdock was a good part of the book? Yes. And having Zdarsky write that scene was fantastic, because the guy who wrote Spider-Man, that was a great book. No comedy per se. It seems as though this I don't understand about Marvel. Zdarsky is known for having humor in his books. Ewing is kind of the same thing. But yet those books don't sell very well for some reason. The book gets canceled. But yet if you have very little humor in the book, not as much humor as the other books that are really good. If you have less humor, book sells well. And to me, that makes no sense. Or at least book lasts longer, because Zdarsky's had this thing where he usually has good amount of excitement in his books when he writes. But Daredevil, it's like very serious. Like maybe occasionally with humor, but not much. But he still is a good storyteller. But some people think of it as his previous run as the worst run in the history of Daredevil. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory per se, because the run only ended. Now, I think people were kind of surprised when this book got relaunched. Now, people knew it was going to be launched because it ended, because of Devil's Reign. What people were more surprised about was Chip Zdarsky's stand on the writer. Even I was surprised about that. I did not know the reason why he had to stay, but he had to stay. for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he just wanted to continue telling a story. And whatever he's doing before, that's like all been dropped. It seems like when you read the previous volume, it seems like he was trying to do his best to continue what Charles Soule started. Here it's like we're having a fresh start here. He probably told Marvel editors, I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want with this book. I mean, Daredevil was known for fighting ninjas. That's one thing he's known for. Here, ninjas. Yes, thank you. I agree with that. It seems as though that Zdarsky has gone back to style in a way, reading these issues. It feels as though he's gone back to style of Brian Michael Bendis and Frank Miller. With the little bit of darkness per se, but good hope spots. Yes. That is just my opinion so far of the run. Yeah, the run just started, but time will tell exactly what happens next. Okay, so that's episode of you. Next episode's going to be Trigon Stampede. Okay, next video. Bye.